But it also started to feel like a bit of a job. And I was in a very fortunate position where it was always fun for me, always really inspiring. But then I was like, as soon as it was starting to feel like just a job, I was like, well.
In the fast-paced world of Hollywood, where fame often brings both fortune and pressure, some stars choose to walk away from the spotlight. They trade in red carpets for more private lives, stepping away from the glitz and glamour to find peace and purpose away from the public eye. Today, we're exploring the stories of 20 celebrities who decided to leave fame behind. We'll dive into the lives of these stars who made the bold choice to live life on their own terms and have found their true happiness away from the limelight. Number 20. Amanda Bynes. Amanda Bynes was a household name in the late 90s and early 2000s, rising to fame as a teen star on Nickelodeon. She began her career on the sketch comedy show All That before landing her own spin-off, The Amanda Show. Bynes quickly became a teen idol, starring in popular films like Big Fat Liar, What a Girl Wants, and She's the Man. However, despite her early success, Bynes struggled with the pressures of fame. In 2010, after her role in the hit movie Easy-A, Bynes announced that she was stepping away from acting indefinitely. Her decision came as a surprise to many, but it soon became clear that she was dealing with significant personal challenges. Over the next few years, Bynes faced legal issues, struggles with substance use, and mental health concerns. In 2013, she was placed under a conservatorship which lasted nearly a decade. Despite overcoming many of these challenges and eventually regaining control of her life, Bynes has shown little interest in returning to Hollywood. Instead, she has turned her attention to a completely different career path. In 2023, Bynes enrolled in cosmetology school to become a manicurist, focusing on building a new life far removed from the fame that once defined her. Number 19. Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Jonathan Taylor Thomas was one of the biggest teen heartthrobs of the 90s, thanks to his role as Randy Taylor on the hit sitcom Home Improvement. In addition to his TV success, Thomas became even more famous as the voice of young Simba in Disney's animated classic The Lion King.
That's not my father. It's just my reflection.
No.
His face was plastered on the covers of countless teen magazines, and his popularity soared throughout the decade. However, at the height of his fame in 1998, Thomas made the unexpected decision to leave Home Improvement and step away from the spotlight. While many speculated about his reasons, Thomas himself was clear. He wanted to focus on his education. He enrolled at Harvard University, where he studied philosophy and history before spending a year abroad at St. Andrews University in Scotland. After his studies, Thomas largely stayed out of the public eye, only occasionally returning for guest roles or voice work. He shifted his focus to working behind the camera, exploring directing and screenwriting. Unlike many former child stars, Thomas seems content with his decision to leave acting behind, valuing his privacy and personal growth over the fame he once had. Number 18. Phoebe Cates. Phoebe Cates became an iconic face of the 1980s thanks to her memorable roles in films like Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Gremlins. Born into a family with strong ties to the entertainment industry, Cates initially pursued a career in modeling and dancing before transitioning to acting. Her breakout role in Fast Times made her a star, and she quickly became a beloved figure in Hollywood. However, despite her success, Cates decided to step back from acting in the mid-1990s. After marrying actor Kevin Kline in 1989, Cates shifted her focus to raising their 2 children. By 1994, she had effectively retired from acting, only making a few brief appearances on screen since then. In 2005, Cates took on a new role as a business owner, opening Blue Tree, a boutique in New York City. The store, which specializes in unique gifts and high-end fashion, has become her passion project. Cates has expressed no interest in returning to acting, finding fulfillment in her quieter life and her successful business. Her decision to leave Hollywood at the peak of her career has allowed her to live on her own terms, away from the constant scrutiny of the public eye. Number 17. Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal was one of the most recognizable action stars of the 1990s, known for his martial arts skills and tough guy persona. Films like Under Siege, Hard to Kill, and Above the Law made him a household name. Seagal's unique blend of martial arts, law enforcement, and action-packed sequences set him apart from other stars of the genre. However, as the 2000s rolled around, Siegel's popularity began to fade. He shifted from big-budget films to a series of low-budget, direct-to-video releases, many of which were poorly received. Around the same time, Siegel developed a close relationship with Russia, eventually becoming a Russian citizen in 2016. His involvement in Russian politics, coupled with his declining film career, led him to step away from Hollywood almost entirely. Siegel's last film appearance was in 2019, and since then, he has focused on his role as Russia's special envoy to the US. Although his Hollywood career is now behind him, Siegel remains a controversial figure, known more for his off-screen activities than his on-screen performances. Number 16. Bridget Fonda. Bridget Fonda comes from one of Hollywood's most celebrated families, the Fondas. She made her film debut at the age of 5 in Easy Rider, a film directed by her father, Peter Fonda. Throughout the late 80s and 90s, Fonda built an impressive career, starring in films like The Godfather Part 3, Single White Female, and Jackie Brown. Her performances earned her critical acclaim and a place among Hollywood's elite. But in 2002, Fonda decided to step away from acting, retreating from the public eye after a serious car accident that left her with a fractured back. Shortly after, she married composer Danny Elfman and chose to focus on her family. Fonda has maintained an extremely low profile since her retirement, rarely making public appearances. When asked in 2023 if she would consider returning to acting, Fonda was firm in her decision, stating that she had no interest in going back to Hollywood. Instead, she has embraced her life as a civilian, finding peace in her privacy and family life. Number 15. Cameron Diaz. Cameron Diaz became a household name in the 1990s, known for her charismatic presence in blockbuster films like The Mask, There's Something About Mary, and Charlie's Angels. Her career skyrocketed, making her one of Hollywood's most sought-after actresses. Despite her success, Diaz shocked fans when she decided to step away from acting after her 2014 film, Annie. Diaz's decision to leave Hollywood wasn't sudden. It came after years of reflection on what she wanted out of life. After marrying musician Benji Madden in 2015 and welcoming their daughter Radix in 2019, Diaz realized that the demands of her career had taken over her life. In 2020, she explained in an interview that acting had become all-consuming, leaving little room for other aspects of her life. Diaz described how she had given away parts of herself to her career and felt it was time to reclaim her life. This decision allowed her to focus on her family and personal well-being, stepping out of the public eye to live a quieter life. Though she will make a brief return to acting with the release of the Netflix film Back in Action in November 2024, Diaz has remained largely committed to her life outside of Hollywood. Number 14. Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis was one of the most beloved comedic actors of the 1980s and 1990s, with roles in classics like Ghostbusters, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and Spaceballs. Known for his quirky characters and comedic timing, Moranis was at the height of his career when tragedy struck. In 1991, his wife, costume designer Ann Belsky, passed away from cancer, leaving Moranis to raise their 2 young children on his own. Following his wife's death, Moranis made the difficult decision to step away from Hollywood to focus on being a full-time father. By 1997, he had quietly retired from acting, choosing to prioritize his family over his career. In a rare interview years later, Moranis explained that he didn't miss acting and had no regrets about his choice. The demands of filmmaking, with its long hours and frequent travel, were incompatible with the kind of parent he wanted to be. Moranis has largely stayed out of the public eye since his retirement, only occasionally doing voice work or appearing at fan conventions. In recent years, he made a brief return to acting, agreeing to reprise his role as Wayne Selinsky in the upcoming Shrunk reboot. Despite this, Moranis remains committed to the quiet life he chose decades ago. Number 13. Angus T. Jones. Angus T. Jones became a familiar face to millions as Jake Harper on the hit TV show 2.5 Men. Cast in the role at just 9 years old, Jones grew up in front of the camera, becoming one of the highest paid child actors on television. However, his relationship with fame took a sharp turn as he got older. In 2012, Jones made headlines when he publicly criticized 2.5 Men, calling it filth in a video for the Forerunner Christian Church. He urged viewers to stop watching the show, expressing discomfort with the content and the lifestyle that came with his fame. This bold move led to his departure from the show and a retreat from the public eye. Jones later expressed regret for the harshness of his comments, but stood by his decision to distance himself from the Hollywood machine. After leaving acting, Jones pursued higher education at the University of Colorado Boulder, where he studied environmental and Jewish studies. In 2016, he joined a multimedia and event production company, choosing to work behind the scenes rather than in front of the camera. Jones's departure from fame was driven by a desire to live a life more aligned with his personal values, far removed from the pressures of the entertainment industry. Number 12. Mia Wasikowska. Mia Wasikowska is best known for her role as Alice in Tim Burton's 2010 film Alice in Wonderland, a role that catapulted her into international stardom. Despite her success, Wasikowska has always been somewhat on the quiet side, preferring a life away from the Hollywood spotlight. In 2023, she revealed that she had largely stepped away from acting to return to her native Australia and live a quieter life. Wasikowska's decision was fueled by a growing disappointment with the entertainment industry. She found the pressures of fame and the demands of an acting career to be overwhelming, leaving little room for personal growth. Moving back to Australia allowed her to reconnect with her roots and explore other interests outside of acting. Wasikowska has expressed a desire to continue working in film, but on her own terms, choosing projects that align with her values rather than chasing Hollywood fame. By stepping away from the industry, Wasikowska has been able to focus on living a more balanced and fulfilling life. Her choice reflects a growing trend among actors who seek to reclaim their personal lives after experiencing the demands of fame. Number 11. Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser was a leading man in the 1990s and early 2000s, known for his roles in The Mummy Trilogy, George of the Jungle, and Encino Man. His career was on a high until personal and professional challenges led him to step back from the limelight. Fraser's decision to retreat from Hollywood was influenced by a series of setbacks. He suffered physical injuries from the intense stunts required for his action roles, leading to multiple surgeries that left him in pain and struggling to keep up with the demands of his career. Additionally, Fraser spoke out about being sexually assaulted by a former Hollywood Foreign Press Association president, an experience that left him feeling excluded within the industry. These experiences, combined with the pressures of fame, led Fraser to take a hiatus from acting. He spent several years out of the public eye, focusing on his recovery and personal life. In recent years, Fraser has made a comeback, earning critical acclaim for his role in Darren Aronofsky's 2022 film, The Whale. Number 10. Daniel Day-Lewis. Daniel Day-Lewis is known as one of the greatest actors of his time. Over his long career, he delivered some of the most powerful performances in movie history. Day-Lewis won 3 Academy Awards for Best Actor, with unforgettable roles in My Left Foot in 1989, There Will Be Blood in 2007, and Lincoln in 2012. Despite his success, Day-Lewis was always known for being private and intensely dedicated to his work. He often took years between projects, fully immersing himself in each role, sometimes to the point of becoming the character he played. In 2017, Day-Lewis surprised everyone by announcing his retirement from acting after finishing the film Phantom Thread. This decision shocked the film world because Day-Lewis was at the peak of his career. He didn't give a detailed reason for his choice, but he mentioned that the desire to quit had been building for some time. Since his retirement, Day-Lewis has stayed out of the public eye, living quietly in Ireland, far from the Hollywood spotlight. While fans may hope for his return, Day-Lewis seems firm in his decision to leave acting behind, choosing a life away from the pressures of fame. Number 9. Dylan Sprouse. Dylan Sprouse, along with his twin brother Cole, became famous as one of the stars of the Disney Channel series The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. The show was a huge success, and the twins were loved by fans for their humor and charm. However, as they grew older, both Dylan and Cole chose different paths. While Cole continued acting, landing a major role in Riverdale, Dylan decided to explore other interests. In 2011, Dylan enrolled at New York University, where he studied video game design. After graduating in 2015, he stepped back from the entertainment industry to focus on his passion for brewing. In 2018, Dylan opened All Wise Meadery in Brooklyn, New York, where he now works as a master brewer. Although Dylan has occasionally returned to acting in independent films and smaller projects, his main focus is on his business. His decision to leave the mainstream spotlight reflects his desire for a more grounded and authentic life, away from the pressures of Hollywood. By choosing a different path, Dylan has shown that it is possible to reinvent oneself and pursue passions outside of the entertainment industry. Number 8. Freddie Prinze Jr. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, Freddie Prinze Jr. was one of Hollywood's most popular actors. He became a teen heartthrob with his roles in hit films like I Know What You Did Last Summer in 1997, She's All That in 1999, and Scooby-Doo in 2002. With his charming looks and easygoing personality, Prince quickly became a favorite among young audiences. However, as the 2000s progressed, Prince began to take on fewer roles, eventually stepping back from acting altogether. Prince's decision to leave Hollywood wasn't sudden. He had always been passionate about cooking and decided to pursue a career in the culinary arts. In 2016, he published a cookbook titled Back to the Kitchen, which showed his love for food and cooking. Prince also focused on his family life, raising 2 children with his wife, actress Sarah Michelle Gellar. Although he has occasionally appeared in voice roles and smaller projects, Prince has largely left the glamour of Hollywood behind. Instead, he has embraced a quieter, more private life, dedicating his time to his family and his culinary pursuits. Prince's journey from Hollywood star to family man and chef shows that sometimes stepping away from the spotlight can lead to a more fulfilling life. Number 7. Michael Schufling. Michael Schufling became widely known thanks to his role as Jake Ryan in the 1984 teen classic 16 Candles. His good looks and charm made him a heartthrob for an entire generation of moviegoers. After the success of 16 Candles, Schufling appeared in films like Vision Quest in 1985 and Mermaids in 1990. Despite his rising fame and the admiration of fans, Schufling decided to leave the spotlight in the early 1990s. Schufling's decision to leave Hollywood was motivated by his desire for a more stable and private life. He moved back to Pennsylvania with his family, where he opened a successful woodworking shop. Since then, Schufling has stayed mostly out of the public eye, focusing on his craft and raising his children. His daughter, Scarlett Schufling, has followed in her father's footsteps in a different industry, becoming a successful model. While his fans may miss seeing him on screen, Schufling seems content with his decision to live a life away from the pressures of Hollywood. Number 6. Karen Parsons. Karen Parsons became a beloved television star thanks to her role as Hilary Banks on the hit sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Her portrayal of the spoiled yet lovable Hilary won the hearts of many viewers, making her a fan favorite. Parsons continued to build a successful acting career in the 1990s with roles in films like Major Payne in 1995 and The Ladies' Man in 2000. After a steady career in the 1990s and early 2000s, Parsons decided to shift her focus away from acting. In 2005, Parsons founded the Sweet Blackberry Foundation, a non-profit organization dedicated to sharing lesser-known stories of African American history with children. Through animated films and educational materials, the foundation highlights the contributions of Black individuals to American history. Parsons has also written children's books and focused on raising her family. Her decision to step away from Hollywood was driven by her passion for education and her desire to make a difference in the lives of young people. Although she no longer regularly appears on screen, Parsons has found fulfillment in her work with Sweet Blackberry. Number 5. Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman was one of Hollywood's most respected actors, known for his powerful performances in films like The French Connection and Unforgiven. His career spanned over 4 decades, during which he earned 2 Academy Awards and widespread acclaim. Hackman's roles often showcased his ability to bring complex characters to life, making him a favorite among both audiences and critics. But in 2004, at the age of 74, Hackman decided to retire from acting. He announced his decision during a rare interview, stating that he was ready to step away from the demands of the film industry. Hackman's last film was Welcome to Mooseport, a comedy that marked the end of an era for his fans. He explained that after so many years in the industry, he wanted to enjoy a quieter life and focus on other interests. After retiring, Hackman didn't disappear from the creative world. Instead, he turned to writing and published several novels, including Payback at Morning Peak and Pursuit. These works showed that Hackman's storytelling talents extended beyond the screen. Though he has remained out of the public eye, his legacy in Hollywood endures, and his choice to leave acting behind seems to have brought him the peace and fulfillment he was seeking. Number 4. Ian Somerhalder. Ian Somerhalder became famous for his role as Damon Salvatore on the hit TV show The Vampire Diaries. His portrayal of the charming yet dangerous vampire made him a household name, and the show gained a large, dedicated fan base. Somerhalder's good looks and intense acting style helped him stand out in a crowded field of television stars, and he quickly became a fan favorite. However, after years of being in the spotlight, Somerhalder decided it was time for a change. In 2023, he revealed that he had taken a break from acting for the past 4 years. The reason? He wanted to focus on his family and new business ventures. Somerhalder is married to actress Nikki Reed, and together they have children. The couple also runs several businesses, which have become a priority for him. Somerhalder explained that while he still loves filmmaking, he felt that he had done it for long enough. He wanted to spend more time with his family and work on projects that align with his current passions. Now, Somerhalder has shifted his focus to producing documentaries, which allows him to continue telling stories without the demands of an acting career. Although fans miss seeing him on screen, Somerhalder seems content with his decision, embracing this new chapter in his life. Number 3. Frankie Muniz. Frankie Muniz became a star in the early 2000s thanks to his lead role in the popular TV show Malcolm in the Middle. His portrayal of the quirky and intelligent middle child won him widespread recognition, and Muniz quickly became one of Hollywood's most sought-after young actors. Alongside his success on television, he also starred in films like Big Fat Liar and Agent Cody Banks, further establishing his place in the entertainment industry. Despite his early success, Muniz decided to step away from acting after Malcolm in the Middle ended in 2006. His decision was driven by a desire to explore other passions, particularly his love for racing. Muniz pursued a career as a race car driver, competing in various events and even achieving some notable successes on the track. His interest in racing showed that he was eager to challenge himself in new and exciting ways. In addition to racing, Muniz also ventured into music, managing a band called Astro Lasso. This creative outlet allowed him to stay connected to the entertainment industry without the pressures of acting. Today, Muniz enjoys a quieter life with his partner, Paige Prince. Together, they run a specialty olive oil shop in Arizona called Outrageous Olive Oils and Vinegars. Although Muniz occasionally returns to the screen for special projects, he seems content with his decision to leave acting behind. Number 2. Cary Grant. Cary Grant was one of Hollywood's most iconic leading men, known for his charm, sophistication, and versatility. Over his long career, Grant starred in a wide variety of films, from romantic comedies like Bringing Up Baby to suspenseful thrillers like North by Northwest. His smooth style made him a favorite among audiences, and he remains one of the most beloved actors of the golden age of Hollywood. Despite his success, Grant decided to retire in 1966, shortly after the birth of his daughter, Jennifer. At that time, Grant was 62 years old and had become disappointed with the changing landscape of Hollywood. He believed that the golden age, of which he had been a major part, was coming to an end, and he wanted to focus on raising his daughter. Grant's decision to step away from acting was motivated by his desire to be a present and dedicated father, something he felt was more important than continuing his career in film. After retiring, Grant didn't completely leave the business world behind. He became a director for both MGM and Fabergé, using his experience and influence to contribute to these companies. He also maintained a close friendship with Grace Kelly, who had left Hollywood to become the Princess of Monaco. Despite retiring at the height of his career, he is remembered as one of the greats of Hollywood's golden age. Number 1. Audrey Hepburn. Audrey Hepburn was one of the most beloved actresses of the golden age of Hollywood, known for her beauty, grace, and immense talent. She starred in some of the most iconic films of the era, including Roman Holiday, Breakfast at Tiffany's, and My Fair Lady. Hepburn was the first actress to win an Academy Award, Golden Globe, and BAFTA for a single performance, and her influence on fashion and film remains strong to this day. However, despite her success, Hepburn decided to step away from acting in the late 1960s. After the birth of her second child in 1970, she chose to focus on her family and dedicate herself to humanitarian work. Hepburn became a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, using her fame to raise awareness for children in need. She traveled to some of the world's poorest regions, including Ethiopia, Turkey, and Vietnam, where she worked to improve the lives of vulnerable children. Hepburn's dedication to humanitarian work earned her the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1992, recognizing her efforts to make a positive impact on the world. Although she occasionally returned to the screen for special projects, her primary focus remained on helping others. Hepburn's decision to leave fame behind allowed her to live a life of purpose and compassion, making her a figure of grace and kindness.